Okay, Rory, thanks for joining us. You've started this tournament every year since 2015. Our 2018 champion. Talk a little bit about what it means to come back to Arnold Palmer's event.
Yeah, 2015 was the first time I played here, and as soon as I got here and played the event and spent some time with Arnold, I instantly regretted not coming here sooner. But back then the schedule was a little bit different, but yeah, as you said, like since 2015 I haven't missed one, and it's obviously a very important event on the PGA Tour, and it's become a very important event in my schedule. So yeah, glad to be back, and it's also a golf course that I've had the one win, but I've had quite a lot of success on, and I've played well on it, and I'm comfortable around here. So it's good to get back.
Rory, a lot of changes to the kind of short grass areas around some of the greens.
Yeah.
Just wondering your thoughts on them, kind of reverting back to that, or which of the holes stick out.
Yeah, I do. I like it. I think it puts a premium. The ball will get further away from the green if you miss a green, which then puts a premium on. If you can chip and pitch the ball well. They've widened the not the immediate fringes, but like there's like say pins cut on like 3 off the right. It's more cut like 5 or 6 off the right, because there's like quite a bit of short grass before you get to the rough now. So I feel like it's like around the greens they've set it up where a big miss is penalized more and a small miss is maybe penalized less. So it should even out, but I do think that it presents guys with a lot of different options on how to play shots, which I guess from previous experience, like that can put some doubt in guys' minds, and that can make it a little more challenging. Yeah, it feels like it's in really good shape. I'm really happy with the signs that I saw at Pebble Beach and Riviera. I think I led strokes gained approach, or I was pretty close to leading the strokes gained approach on those two events. Drove the ball pretty well at Riv. I just couldn't make a putt for 27 holes, but I put that down to the sort of the very fast, bumpy Poana. But I was really happy with where my game was coming out of the West Coast, and I've kept ticking along the past week and played some golf, and I'm excited for these 2 weeks. I feel like I'm in good shape.
Rory, there was a quote from Ryan Gerard about this shot that Scotty Scheffler hits, where it kind of bridges the gap between two numbers. It's a knockdown, but it goes high and has a lot of spin. Said he's been obsessed with it. Is that a shot that you feel like you've mastered, and how do you go about learning different shots like that on the range? Yeah,
I definitely think it was one of the reasons I went to a softer, spinnier ball, was to be able to hit shots like that. Really important weeks like this where your greens are really firm. Greens at Augusta can get firm, greens at a US Open, for example. So to be able to hit a ball that comes down soft but not have to hit it flat out, that's a skill in of itself. And you can see when Scotty does it, he has this sort of high, sort of languid finish when he does it. A little bit like if you look at Tiger back in the Hank Haney days, same sort of thing. So it's certainly, when the greens get firm and the pins get tucked away, it's definitely a great shot to have.
Rory, Luke's coming back for a third try. I'm sure you were aware before we were, but can you just talk about how big that is? It's somewhat historic in some ways. It's been a long time since a guy did 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think it's obviously a huge advantage for the European team to have that continuity and that consistency. I was sort of banging on that drum going into Bethpage, and we'll have it even more so again. We mightn't have, the team may be a little bit different, or it could be, it was obviously really similar in Bethpage to what it was in Rome. I'd maybe envision a couple other guys maybe breaking their way onto the team, but it's wonderful to have look back. There's not one player or one person behind the scenes that helps with Ryder Cup Europe that isn't thrilled that Luke agreed to come back and do it again.
Somewhat related, maybe smallly related. I'm sure you saw the deal that the DP World Tour made with Live guys, and John, of course, is not doing it. And he talked about it in Hong Kong. I guess it was yesterday their time. Do you have any reaction to this whole situation that's allowing these guys back if they want, but John's not?
Yeah, I mean, geez, in my opinion, it's a really generous deal. Like, it's a much softer deal than what Brooks took to come back and play on the PGA Tour. The European Tour can only do so much to accommodate these guys. So, you know, if you want to play in the Ryder Cup, you have to be a member of the DP World Tour. To be a member of the DP World Tour, you have to abide by the rules and regulations. And the rules and regulations were, okay, if you break the the media rights agreement and you go and play in a conflicting event and you don't get a release, you're subject to fines. So the guys didn't want to pay the fines. That's fine. So then the European Tour said, okay, let's try to come up with some sort of solution where you don't have to pay the fines so that we can ease that burden on you but still retain your membership. And I look, there's a reason 8 of the 9 guys took that deal, right? I think it's a really good deal. And yeah, obviously John doesn't think so, and he's obviously well within his rights to think that way, but I just don't see what more the European Tour can do to accommodate these guys to retain their membership.
So the 2 extra events is the trade-off, basically, right? Because that's sort of what he's talking about.
Which isn't a heavy lift. I mean, to retain your membership is 4 events on the DP World Tour outside of the major championships, and that to me doesn't seem. Yes, okay, maybe the European Tour get to have a say in where those 2 events are, but I mean, I'm sure John doesn't want to go to South Africa next week, but he's going there. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I get he signed a contract for Live and he plays 14 events and the whole thing. Like, I get all that, but, the DP World is well within its rights. The DP World Tour is well within its rights to protect itself as a members organization and as a business. And if you asked any DP World Tour member about the deal that they've cut with the Live guys, I would think they would all say that was pretty generous. So, and again, there's a reason that 8 of the 9 took it, because they probably think the same thing, and one guy thinks a little differently, and that's a shame.
Are you concerned the ramifications that he would not be eligible for Ryder Cup?
Look, the Ryder Cup is bigger than any one person. It's bigger than all of us. We come and go. Players are... We pass through the system. Like, it's the platform that's the big thing. I mean, I think we should all be grateful that we have a platform like the Ryder Cup that we can play on, and that we can, showcase our skills and be a part of something that's obviously way bigger than ourselves. So at the end of the day, it's about the team, and no one player is bigger than the team.
Rory, I wonder what your conversations have been with Shane since Sunday, and about how you feel he can kind of mentally get over that, back into it this week.
Yeah, I played golf with him on Monday morning. He was fine. He was in good spirits. I reminded him I double bogeyed the 16th at PGA National in 2014 to lose the tournament, and I went on to win 2 majors that year. So I was sorry. I was trying to look, it's one event. It was 2 bad holes, 2 bad swings. It doesn't mean that the rest of the year is going to be bad. Again, I had a horrible finish there in 2014 and ended up going to have one of the best years of my career. So I just reminded him of that.
Rory, you've been on some runs in your career, obviously. 18, I think it was, top 10 snap for Scotty. What kind of a role is he on, and what's it require of the field, even a top player like yourself, to kind of beat him?
I mean, look, he's played consistently excellent golf for, I'd say, ever since he got his first win back at the start of 22. I mean, he hasn't really dropped off since then. So it's been, okay, you could say 18 top 10s in a row, but it's been 4 years of really, excellent, consistent golf. And he's, you look at his game and there, you would have said a few years ago that the putting was a weakness, but you wouldn't say that now. And you look at all the other aspects of his game, and you don't see a weakness from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint. So, and he seems like he has a good mindset of just, last week's done, I'll move on to this week, and there's no, forget about whatever happened. And he operates in the present so well, and that's one of his super strengths.
He said Brian Roloff is kind of a no BS guy. He really likes that about him. What's something you'd like to see him enhance out there? I mean, like maybe one thing. I mean, there's a lot, I'm sure, but is there anything specific?
Not really. I mean, I'm going to show up and play the tournaments that I want to play, and I was in the weeds with tour politics for a few years, and I'm happy I'm out of it.
Rory, back to Luke. Luke obviously had a heavy decision to make to come back as captain. He said he talked to several of your teammates in the European Ryder Cup team. Did you talk to him as well in regards to that decision, and can you give us some insights on those conversations?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Luke and I are neighbors. We live on the same street, so we see each other quite a bit. Yeah, we had quite a few talks before the new year. I haven't had a chance to really talk to him about much afterwards, but I know that he was having discussions with the DP World Tour and Ryder Cup Europe, and just getting things buttoned up on his side. Right, it's a big time commitment. He puts a lot into it, but it's also he's put his golf career on hold for 6 years to do this. Right, so he has to feel like everything else that's going on is right, and Diane has to be into it, the kids have to be into it. It's a lot more than just his decision at the end of the day. It's a big it's a massive part of your life, and especially with the time commitment that he puts into it, because he is so thorough on everything that he does. But yeah, I mean, when we talked, I mean, we sort of tried to go through the pros and cons, and what would be the drawbacks, what would be the, and I think at the end of the day, we all see the opportunity for him to go down as the greatest Ryder Cup captain ever if we can go and win in Ireland. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the opportunity that he has. And obviously I want to be a part of that team to help him try to make that history.
Perfect. Thanks, Rory.
Thank you. What's that? Big,